Hi everyone, it's Fitz with a Power Talk following Kansas State's press conference on Monday at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, coming off their second straight loss, a really disappointing performance against Arizona State. The Cats now face just a fraction of a chance that they could get to Arlington with 3 losses. Need a lot of help to get there. Don't even worry about it. If this weekend has some chaos, maybe we can talk about it, but that's just far off the plate. The bigger concern is what the heck is going on with Kansas State football. And today, Chris Klieman sounded, well, much more like himself. And because of how downtrodden he was following the game, and obviously what has been happening in his family, health, private life stuff has impacted him. He said afterwards they got some pretty good news over the weekend. So maybe that accounts for some of his better appearance. But because of how he looked after the game and so down, people began to speculate that he was going to walk away from it. And we've heard him talk about how college coaching has evolved into something that he didn't really sign up for. And he's done a good job as best he can adjusting to this era. But if you're just a true football coach, you don't want to worry about salary caps and stuff, college isn't your space right now, because that's basically what you're dealing with, free agents and salaries and all that kind of stuff that you never thought you would have to. But more importantly, he was kind of back to himself in so many ways. But I did start the press conference by asking him about the rumors that he may be retiring. He said no, it's not going on. He hasn't said that to anyone, so he didn't know how the rumors got started. Well, Coach, you don't need someone to start them. Folks can do that on their own in this era. But I think all of us were a little unsettled by how upset he was. It was more than losing a game. It was obvious that some things in his life away from football were a little bit off the rails, and hopefully they got back on the rails a little bit. But the other side of that coin is Chris Klieman, when asked about things they might change, didn't really address anything. They're just going to work on getting better, and he said, we're not seeing this in practice. We're seeing a pretty good team in practice. So I'd hope maybe they'll change something on game day. I don't even know what to say to that. It was a little bit hard to come up with a follow-up question because he kind of covered everything with a blanket statement of we're going to do fine. We're going to be fine. I did radio before I got to this with my friends, the Lutz family, father-son team. It's Bob and Jeffrey they're awesome. They're both like grumpy old men. But I did their show before doing this, and they asked me what fans can expect Saturday. And I had to say something that I don't really say very often. I have no idea. I don't. I'm going to be really blunt here. What we saw at the press conference didn't change much in terms of indecision about what will happen on Saturday. Chris Klieman was kind of himself. Just kind of methodically going through everything, answering questions, did a good job. Avery Johnson comes in and seems like he's worn out. I don't know what's going on. He's never like a big talker, but he seemed extra like worn down a little bit. So I think some daubers are down in that locker room. I think maybe they are carrying the weight of that loss and how disappointing the entire performance was. And to do that at home when you had such an opportunity to play for the Big 12 title, and now it's all but dead. And I think there's some adjustments that are probably going on in that locker room amongst teammates. Now this is dead. We got to play for this. We'll see how they look. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I think by halftime we will know. This has not been a good first half team offensively all year. And by going up tempo a little bit towards the end of that Arizona State game, they seem to find some offensive confidence and rhythm. And I think maybe that's what the offense has been lacking, is just a rhythm in play calling, a rhythm in performance, and kind of getting into a groove and maybe going a little bit faster, not full, run and gun, run and shoot type offense. That's not what I'm looking for. Just a little pace to it. Just pick up the pace and quit being so methodical because you're not able to accomplish what you want to accomplish in the current tempo. And now they're down Dylan Edwards, no word on his hamstring injury. Keegan Johnson at receiver, no word on his hamstring injury. Ask about both. So They're going to be a little bit limited going into this weekend. Maybe some more young receivers will get a shot. Joe Jackson's going to get his more chances at running back. This was really interesting, though. This was something that fascinated that Chris Klieman said. He said, honestly, when Dylan Edwards went out, so did a big part of our game plan because they had scripted about a dozen plays to be in Dylan's favor. And that one they ran was something new with the pitch. And Dylan took it right out of bounds as he popped that hamstring. So now a bunch of what they practiced for this game went out the window and they had to do without. And Coach Klieman said, I felt like in hindsight, we should have tried to run some of those plays with Joe Jackson. I'm sure Dylan wasn't the only one running in practice, but Jackson scored another touchdown. He looks like a guy that's going to be a really good running back, a good kind of explosive playmaker for Kansas State in the future. I think we'll see him quite a bit against Cincinnati coming off that Arizona State loss. Well, that's it for this Power Talk. Of course, we'll have one again on Saturday after the game. And all your normal coverage is coming this week with one big exception. Ryan B. will be in St. Thomas for the Kansas State men's basketball tournament. So maybe we won't have him around as much. Nah, I like him. We'll just record early.